This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, hello, ho there. It's Jeff Cutter. I'm welcoming you to another Sports Catastrophe birthday boy. And the birthday boy today is a famous boxer who was an icon of the heavyweight division from 2006 to 2015 as he and his brother Vladimir, with a W, would dominate heavyweight boxing, the Klitschko era, and basically, bring boxing to a standstill. So Vitali Klitschko was born in 1971, so he is 50 years old. He is actually the mayor of Kiev since 2014. That's amazing. Like the biggest city in Ukraine. He actually was actively involved in Ukrainian politics in 2005, and then he combined this with his boxing career until his retirement in 2013. He's won multiple world heavyweight belts. He was WBO champion, the ring champion, and the WBC title. He beat 15 fighters for a world heavyweight belt. In fact, he and Vladimir are in the Guinness World Record books for the pair of brothers with the most heavyweight title fight wins, 40 as of 2020. So anyway, he was 6'7" and about 250 pounds. And basically, he had ring dominance. He actually knocked out 87% of his opponents. He only lost twice. And they were actually stoppages rather than outright knockouts because of a shoulder injury and a deep cut above his eye. So basically, Vitali didn't lose by knockout or by any decision. And he was leading on the judges' scorecards in both of those fights. So at 42, he was the WBC heavyweight belt when he retired. That's amazing. 42. So anyway, he's the only heavyweight boxer to be world champion in 3 different decades, alongside Oli McCall and Nikolai Valuev. He's the only world heavyweight champion to not been knocked down in any fight. But Oliver McCall did, cry his way into a loss. Klitschko and Foreman are the only heavyweight boxers to defend a world title after turning 40. That's amazing. And he actually has a PhD. Wow. So anyway, yeah, he was given all that. He's the mayor. He has 3 children. So yeah, he's 50 years old. Nice. So anyway, he actually had a tough time with a few. Well, he was actually an amateur kickboxer who was 34-2. He was a 6-time champion, winning 2 amateur world championships. That's pretty good. He decided to join professional boxing in 1996. Basically, he didn't make the Olympics. I wish he did. Anyway, so, yeah. Now, there's a reason why. Vitali actually had tested positive for a banned steroid in 96. He said that it was to treat a leg injury, but the Ukrainian boxing team refused to have him be in Atlanta. And Vladimir moved up from heavyweight to super heavyweight to take his spot in the squad and won the gold medal. Yeah, so he would become the WBO heavyweight title in 1999, taking Herbie Hyde of the UK out by second round knockout. He would then face Chris Bird, who was a late replacement, April 1st, 2000. Klitschko looked good against Bird, but he suffered a shoulder injury, and basically he had to throw in the towel, and Bird won the title by referee stoppage. So basically he had torn rotator cuff. People thought he quit the fight, but then he would actually reel off 5 matches in a row and would earn himself a match with Lennox Lewis. In 2003, and all that. Klitschko had a tune-up fight with Kirk Johnson of Nova Scotia for the IBO title. But Johnson pulled out of the fight, and Klitschko had to Lewis would fight Kirk Johnson, but Klitschko took the fight with Lennox Lewis on short notice. Immediately after he accepted, the WBC said, fine, you can it could be a title match. And Lewis's ring title was up for grabs, in addition to the lineal title. So Klitschko looked good and all that. However, in the 7th round, he had a cut above his left eye. Klitschko looked good, but because the wound was from Lewis's punches, Lewis won by TKO. Klitschko basically wanted a rematch, but it didn't work. All that. Lewis would retire and vacated the title. And Vitali won it. Lennox Lewis. All that. So the Klitschkos moved from Germany to Los Angeles, but still represented Ukraine. All that. Klitschko would face Corey Saunders for the WBC heavyweight belt and the ring belts, the ring magazine belts that were vacated by Lennox Lewis. So that was amazing. Corey ended up beating Vladimir by TKO, but Klitschko basically took care of Sanders. Klitschko actually decided to retire in 2005. And decided to retire. He was supposed to fight Hasim Rahman in 2005, but he injured his leg while sparring. It would be an ACL, which basically would take a while to heal and could be career-ending. So he decided to retire. Well, he got treatment for his ACL thing. The WBC said that when he was able to return, he would be the mandatory challenger for the belt. And so in 2008, he had a chance. It would be Samuel Peter of Nigeria, who was the WBC title holder. So basically, that's who Klitschko had to face in Berlin, and it was actually very much anticipated. But Klitschko basically dismantled Peter and won the title. So anyway, Klitschko would have plenty of matchups and all that. At age 40 was huge. He retained his belt against Polish fighter Tomasz Adamek. It was actually the first ever pay-per-view fight in Polish TV history. But basically, Adamek lost because he couldn't defend himself. Klitschko was 41 years old and still was the champion. It was amazing, all that. So the Klitschko brothers had every title in 2012. The ring title, the IBF belt, the IBO, the WBO, the WBC, and the WBA. It was like amazing, all that. So Vitali did a good job. But he decided to step back from boxing in December 2013. He said that his focus was on politics in Ukraine, and the Ukraine people need me. So he did. And he's the mayor of Kiev. So yeah. It's amazing. Vitali's amazingness. He'd never been knocked down. His 87% knockout percentage is one of the best ratios of any heavyweight champion ever. He almost never lost a round in his professional career as a boxer. Vitali was the best of his time, and basically that's when the heavyweight division was basically in peril and all that. Yeah, it's like amazing. The Klitschkos were big stars in Germany, despite the fact that they are from Ukraine and all that. So yeah, that's amazing what he's done and all that. In fact, Vitali beat 7 fighters who went into the fight with Vitali undefeated. Albin Belinsky, Ed Mahone, Timo Hoffman, Chris Arreola, Kevin Johnson, Odile Solis, and Manuel Schard. So yeah. Amazing. Actually, Vitali's father actually was one of the commanders in charge of cleaning up the effects of the Chernobyl nuclear disaster and diagnosed with cancer. But he survived 25 years after being in Chernobyl. Wow. So Klitschko has 3 children: Max, Igor, Daniel, and Elizabeth Victoria. Yeah. The brothers actually play chess a lot, too. Vitali and Vladimir. That's pretty good. Vitali would never fight his brother because they promised their mother. So yeah, He only lost 2 fights in his career, and both of them were like stoppages. So that's amazing what he did and all that. In Germany, is the highest viewership fight in Germany was 13 million when Vitali Klitschko faced Shannon Briggs in 2010. Whereas Klitschko's match with Chisora showdown in Munich was second. In the Ukraine, Klitschko Chisora was the highest viewership in Ukraine. So yeah. So Klitschko basically was dominating in an era when heavyweights were not really that prominent in boxing. Boxing kind of lost its luster in a sense. I guess because Klitschko was too good. I don't know. But anyway, now you got Golovin and Canelo Alvarez bringing boxing back to life. Well, you can't blame them. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do